Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to my power, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Akakodash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who were well and teach well, being great examples to us younger brothers. Peace and blessings to those who elect. Lord willing to be a part of that number. I'm the brother Kadar from the GMS branch Chicago, coming back with another video. This video is going to be entitled Esau's Wicked as Soon as He Be Born. You know, and I seen another brother make a video on this, you know, and it inspired me to do a lamb backing on it, you know, because it just shows you how the Most High created this devil to be wicked, man. You know, and as soon as he's born, you know, that perverse spirit is on him. You know, it's not, you know, because Esau spreads the narrative that whenever Israelite does something, you know, he blasts him all over the news, points him as the bad guy. You know, but when his own people does something bad, he might have had a bad upbringing. You know, everyone makes mistakes. You know, but let's play this video. Yeah, man, that it shows you, you know, because the kid said it. You know, he said his brain starts telling him what to do when it comes to killing. That's an evil spirit that's on that nigga, man. You know, he's a fucking Edomite. You know, and they love blood, man. You know, look at the show Jeffrey Dahmer. All it took was one situation, you know, for his spirit to get activated, and he was activated, man. You know, I think his father had him dissect. Was it a frog or some shit? It's been a minute since I watched the show, man. But you know, brothers who watch it, you know, and brothers and sisters who's watching, familiar with it, know what I'm talking about. You know, and also this guy Joe Goldberg, you know, from the show series You. You know, it shows you how Esau thinks, their frame of mind. All right, watch the American Psycho. Okay. You get an insight on how these Edomites think, how they operate. You know, this is their spirit, man. You know? So, I wanted to grab the Psalms 58:3. It says, the wicked are estranged from the womb. They go astray as soon as they be born, speaking lies, right? And these fucking Edomites are estranged from the womb. All right, look at their spirits, man. All right, immediately when they're born, they got a wicked ass spirit, man. All right, because those are the same wicked spirits coming back. All right, and it started from Cain. All right, who Esau came back as Cain in the reincarnation. You know, and now these are his descendants. Okay, the lineage of evil. Okay, you had the sons of God, you had the sons of men, and you had the sons of the wicked. You know, which is Esau, Edom, the so-called white man. Okay, it says their poison is like the poison of a serpent. All right, and that poison, all right, is that wicked philosophy that he pushes out towards the whole wide world. All right, you can read Revelation 18, all right, where it says he made the whole world drunken. You know, the whole world has taken a sip of that Babylon juice. Okay, and now this whole world is bugged out, man. All right, because we know, as it says in Sirach 10, as the ruler, so are the people. So these people are under Esau, Edom's vibration. So they're going to act like Esau, Edom. They're going to act like a heathen. All right, that's why wickedness is pushed out. That's why the scriptures say, woe to them that call evil good and good evil. All right, this devil pushes wickedness in this society. All right, and if you wanna excel in this society, all right, you have to further push wickedness. You have to be get in bed with him. You have to get in league with him. Okay, so that shows you who's in power. Okay, because that ain't the first Edomite to say some shit like that. Okay, and he's a child. He doesn't know anything about this. He doesn't have any discernment to keep his thoughts inside, to give wise answers like a serpent. He hasn't learned that yet. You know, when children are very straightforward, direct. You know, it's when you grow up, when you start to learn discretion, and you know, start to be wise with your words. All right, hey, that little nigga is just being straightforward, and the other Edomites that you work with, you know, that you see, these guys think the same way. You know, but you gotta remember, he's a serpent, man. He's subtle. All right, it says they are like the deaf adder that stoppeth her ear. And you gotta remember, he's a serpent, man. You know, this is Sirach 33 verse 13. It says, as the clay is in the potter's hand to fashion it at his pleasure, so man is in the hand of him that made him to render to them as liketh him best. Okay, so the Most High is the potter, we're the clay. Okay, it says good is set against evil and life against death. So is the godly against the sinner, and the sinner against the godly, right? And that good, all right, is Israel, and that evil is Esau. Okay? It says, so look upon all the works of the Most High, and they are two and two, one against another. So you have the righteous and you have the wicked. Okay? And we know who's the righteous, we know who's the wicked. All right? But going into that subtlety, I want to read this Genesis 3:1 first. It says, now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field, which the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem El-Shai had made. Okay, and this is talking about Esau. All right, before he had his pigmentation stripped away. Okay, it wasn't an actual serpent. All right, it says that is like calling somebody a snake ass nigga, man. All right, calling him a serpent. All right, it says that he said unto the woman, yet have Yahweh said, ye shall not eat of every tree of the garden. Okay, so this Genesis 4:4, it says that Abel also brought out of the firstling of the flock and of the fat thereof, and Yahweh had respect to Abel and to his offering, but unto Cain his offering he had not respect. And Cain was very wroth, and his countenance fell. Cain didn't obey Yahweh Ba'ashem El-Shai. Okay, it says Yahweh said to Cain, why art thou wroth? Why is thy countenance fallen? If thou doest well, shall thou not be accepted? And if thou doest not well, sin lieth at the door, and unto thee shall be his desire, and thou shalt rule over him. Okay. It says, and Cain talked with Abel his brother, and it came to pass when they were in the field, Cain rose up against Abel his brother and slew him. So he put him to death, the first murderer. Okay. It says, Yahweh said unto Cain, where is Abel thy brother? And he said, I know not. Am I my brother's keeper? So it is this a fucking devil, man. Okay. It says, and he said, what hast thou done? The voice of thy brother's blood crieth unto me from the ground. And now art thou cursed from the earth, who which have opened her mouth to receive thy brother's blood from thy hand. All right, give me 1 second. It says, when thou tillest the ground, it shall not henceforth yield unto her strength. A fugitive and a vagabond shalt thou be in the earth. All right, so Esau Edom is a fugitive and a vagabond, man. He was the first criminal. Okay, that's the word crimson goes into, red. Okay, so let's continue. It says, and Cain saying unto Yahweh, my punishment is greater than I can bear. All right, Esau always fucking complaining, man. All right, just like when Esau sold his birthright, you know, then he complained unto Isaac, say, hast thou a blessing to me, father? All right, this devil, he can't take the heat. You know, Esau could dish it out, but he can never take it. Okay, it says, behold, thou hast driven me out of this day from the face of the earth, and from thy face shall I be hid, and I shall be a fugitive and a vagabond in the earth. It shall come to pass that everyone that findeth me shall slay me. All right, so let's continue to read, man. It says, 1 second, let me turn into this slide real quick. One second. It says, Yahweh said unto him, therefore, whosoever slayeth Cain, vengeance shall be taken on him sevenfold. And Yahweh set a mark upon Cain, that any find him should kill him, right? And the Lord took that pigmentation away from him, man. All right, you got to remember, at the time, everyone had pigment back then. Everyone had a shade of brown skin. You know? Okay, it says, verse 16, and Cain went from the presence of the Lord, and dwelt in the land of Nod and on the east of Eden. All right, so that was that. Now let's read down, because it talks about his bloodline. Okay. And let's go into, let's talk about Lamech. Verse 23, it says, and Lamech said unto his wives, Adah and Zillah, hear my voice, ye wives of Lamech, hearken unto my speech. For I have slain a man to my wounding, and a young man to my hurt. If Cain shall be avenged sevenfold, truly Lamech 70 and sevenfold. Okay. So, hey, that was the first. Hey, he was singing about it, man. Okay, that was the first drill song, so to say. You know, just displaying the pride of Esau, man. You know, at the time they weren't called Esau, all right, but they got reincarnated into to the lineage of Esau, man. You know. So it says, Adam knew his wife again. She bore a son. They called his name Seth, for Yahweh said, he shall be appointed. He have appointed me another seed instead of Abel, whom Cain slew. Okay. So that was the point. All right. These devils are just wicked, man. All right. Esau Edom is just wicked as fuck. All right. And it's in their spirit. Okay. You got these people saying racism is taught. Now, this shit is in their spirit, man. They have a perpetual hatred towards our people. Perpetual means forever. All right? Since the beginnings, Ezekiel 35:5, and I'll close out. Because thou hast had a perpetual hatred and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword in the time of their calamity, in the time that their iniquity had an end. Okay? So Esau has forwarded our affliction. Okay, it says, therefore, as I live, saith the Lord Yahweh, I will prepare thee unto blood, and blood shall pursue thee. Since thou hast not hated blood, even blood shall pursue thee. Thus will I make Mount Seir most desolate, and cut off from it him that pisseth out, and him that returneth. And I will fill his mountains with his slain men, and thy hills, and thy valleys, and all thy rivers shall they fall that are slain with the sword, man. All right, so Esau Edom is going to end up getting exterminated after his 1,000 years of captivity. Okay, so Lord, when this lesson was edifying, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bashim Shai, Bashim Kakodash. And honor to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Peace and blessings to all for elect. Lord willing, to be a part of that never. Shalom, Kwame Sharala, and Wa Baba.